everyone. My name is Cynda Wallace, and welcome back to Discovering Your Purpose. And this is the Purpose Project, where I am interviewing a series of individuals that are acting on their highest excitement, their purpose, and their passions to inspire others to also do the same. And today I am with a longtime friend, a coach, and a mentor, teacher of mine, Aurora Hill. So thank you for being here and being present for this. And I'm very excited to talk to you about what you do, your mark in the community, and just everything that you do for us. So thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
You're most welcome. So to kick it off, my one question I always want to start this off with is, how do you define purpose and passion? And do you see them as separate or do they overlap for you?
I definitely see them as separate. I think passion arises from within and is a, a, a qualitative sensual experience coming from emotions and arising from my soul. Purpose to me is a more quantitative experience that I find reason and guidance and then use choices to push that forward. I think they overlap in the sense that purpose can arise from passion. I don't think passion necessarily arises from purpose.
As you already know, I've been a hypnotist for now nearly 6 years, and I love what I do, and I wouldn't change it for the world. There was this point, though, where I was focusing on acting on my highest excitement. And since I've been doing this for 6 years, like, is this really my highest excitement at this point? And so then I kind of had again like this fork in the road moment. And I was really considering, like, is hypnosis really my passion? I love what I do, but is it really my passion? And then that's how I stumbled upon like purpose, where I believe in my heart of hearts that this is my purpose, this is what I'm here for, and I love what I do. And some of my personal passions come from within, like what you were saying. And like for me, as you already know, I'm a huge animal lover. That is like volunteering and helping animals and things of that nature, creating art, my sound bath. So those are a lot of my passions. And so for me, sometimes they do overlap, like what you were saying, but they're also in their own separate bubble as well.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah, I think a lot of people sometimes have the passion part down, but they don't always have the purpose part down, or vice versa. And if you get really lucky, then they do overlap, right?
Definitely.
Yeah. And so I would like you to share a little bit about Dreamscape consciousness and the work that you do with that for people that might not know what that means or what that entails.
Dreamscape for me is about everything in my life, not just the dreams that I have at night, but the dreamscape that I'm living in and everything that I experience is a symbol that guides me and moves me forward. It's how I make my choices and how I find my way in the world.
Yeah, I love that because I had it down here that you've been studying dreams and symbolism for over 40 years, and that you've been working in this dreamscape consciousness realm for nearly 25 years. And I know when I was working with you as one of your students, that you're able to give me was able to look at my dreams in a very empowering way that was coming from within, but then also taking that even outside of my dreams. It's like we can have a dream, or we can have an experience in this real life. I mean, we can go back to it, revisit it, and we can get more insight and more clarity from it. and therefore living a more like purposeful and satisfying and insightful life, in a life that's more in alignment with who we are as people.
I've always felt that my mind is working whether I'm asleep or awake, and it's using the same symbolism, regardless of whether it's a daytime experience or a nighttime dream. So, learning to really recognize that personal symbolism is how I learned to really use dreamscape consciousness.
Yeah. And that is really empowering too, when someone can learn these tools and then be able to start to integrate them in their everyday life. And not just only when they're dreaming, but also again like in this waking state.
Mhm.
And I think it's a tool to bring in more insight, and it's a tool to really know thyself more and to really even understand our subconscious and our unconscious mind. Do you have anything else that you would like to add or share in regards to that?
I think to the point that you're making, that recognition that symbolism is really uniquely ours,
Hmm.
and to be able to understand our own symbolism is a way to begin to use that in our daily life and recognize it as a tool.
Most definitely. And again, that's something that I really appreciated about what I learned from you, especially in regards to like the dream realm, when we are dreaming and then we reach out to someone else to interpret our dreams for us in a way that's like giving our power away. That's not trusting ourselves. Well, versus if we can learn how to learn our own symbolism, we can
Mhm.
know ourselves more, and then we're taking our power back to have this deeper understanding and understanding about ourselves and the nature of ourself.
And being able to listen and hear what someone else might suggest,
Mm,
and then be able to choose whether that resonates with me or not,
yeah.
recognizing that place of trusting and knowing that my interpretation and my belief about those symbols are truly mine, and still being able to hear and accept what someone else might suggest or experience from that, and then knowing how to choose. Does that resonate with me or not?
Mm. And this is a question that just kind of spurred up, like from you doing this work and having these understandings of symbolism and everything, do you also find that helps you understand other people more, even on a deeper level, like when they're speaking and when they're sharing?
I think so. And learning to trust
Mm,
that I still don't know exactly what you're experiencing. I can pick up on the symbolism and recognize, especially as we get to know each other better, we understand each other's symbols. But I think it was a big lesson for me to truly understand that I can't know 100% what someone else is experiencing or how they interpret their own symbolism.
yeah, most definitely. And so, like, also, what I'm hearing with that, there's almost this ability to surrender,
Mhm.
like just being able to surrender and being okay with not knowing. So often, part of our human nature is that we need to understand everything, we need to know everything, and just being able to surrender that that's okay if we don't know everything,
Right.
that we don't need to
I
understand.
truly only know my own inner workings.
Yeah. I mean, that even just takes a lot of work in just in itself, because a lot of people don't even really know who they are. It
Mhm.
takes a lot of time to sit with yourself and to, but also like why we're here and talking about this is also using our dreams as using that as a vehicle, as a tool to be able to really understand, to know thyself.
Right.
So then, what inspired you to even start pursuing this path?
I was always fascinated with my dreams, even from a very young age. I remembered dreams that I had when I was 3 or 4 years old. And then as I got older and started studying dream analysis and my fascination with mythology and history even carried me into that realm of wanting to learn more. And then in the mid 90s, I met Willow, who was teaching Dreamscape consciousness. And I worked with her for about 11 years. And when she passed away, I took up the torch, and because of her encouragement, and began teaching it and developing it more in a way to use it as a tool with meditation, hypnosis, journey work, anything that will take you into that dream state.
Yeah. Yeah, just being able to use it as a tool to be able to go deeper. And what a beautiful way to be able to honor your teacher as well by passing that torch on. And I know that in our area, the Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, Spokane area, that you've been able to, spark a lot of those different connections and being able to even pass those torches off to many of us, even myself included. And so what a beautiful way how Willow will get to continue to also like live on too through our own experiences as well. I love that. How did that understanding shape your approach to the dreamscape consciousness, like your experience with Willow and everything that's led up to this point?
How did it shape? I'm understanding your question.
Do I even actually know the question? Yeah, what I had down here is that the symbolism from dreams also reflects the waking life. How did that understanding shape your approach to dreamscape consciousness?
I think it shaped my approach to life more than it did my approach to dreamscape. Does that make sense? Because it became a tool that I can use and find clearer understanding in why I choose to do things a certain way, why I react to things, and learning to take those reactions and analyze that to help me understand often a better way of doing things.
So again, like really in a nutshell, this whole thing just comes back to just knowing yourself more, understanding yourself in your own reality and your own experiences, and just using it as a tool. And again, that's really empowering, and just being able to take your power back and being able to apply this and integrate it. And I just really love how it influences all realms of your mind. So you have the conscious mind, the subconscious mind, and the unconscious mind. And so this really just harnesses all aspects of self.
And learning how to create that realm, for instance, through hypnosis and through guided meditations,
Yeah, and again, what I really love about that is that you're teaching people to use the tool very similar to like I teach people how to do self-hypnosis. So I'm
Mhm.
teaching people how to hypnotize themselves for the rest of their lives. They don't always have to come back to me to be able to do work. And so being able to teach these people these tools helps them become independent. And when we feel more independent, we're living a more satisfying, fulfilling life, and therefore springboarding us to act on our highest excitement, our purposes, and our passions in life.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so I know that you are currently in the process of launching a Dreamscape Consciousness course. And could you tell us a little bit more about that and how that can empower your future students and clients?
It's a certification course for people to be able to use dreamscape consciousness in their own practices.
Yeah.
For instance, how you use it in hypnosis, or even massage therapists that I've worked with have learned to use dreamscape consciousness to analyze visions and impressions they get about a person or about their body as they're working on someone. And a lot of people experience their own visions and their own sort of dream state when they're being worked on.
Yeah.
So, teaching the practitioner how to use that tool and help their client understand better what they're experiencing, and then also to be able to interpret personally what the practitioner is experiencing.
Mm. So, what's really cool about this is that so many different types of individuals that are in the helping profession can use this.
So there's a good reminder for you. Ask people to silence
Silence
their
the
phones.
phones. It's fun. There's a little hold music. And so what's really cool about this is that no matter what the helping profession is, that this is something that people are going to be able to use. Like what I was thinking of was that you know her, she is a like a witchy therapist out in Coeur d'Alene, and she does a lot of EMDR. And so even being able to bring this modality into something like EMDR, which is a
Mhm.
very much like a clinical practice, and being able to enhance that and even get a deeper understanding, or the massage therapist, Reiki practitioner, the professional hypnotist. Like there's so many different types of professions where people are going to be able to add this certification onto their current training to get a deeper understanding again of themselves, but also the people that they're working with.
The beauty of that also is that it's not just about the visions or the impressions that we have that are like a dream video. It's also about the feelings
Mm-hmm.
that we get, which arise in almost any modality like that. I know another person who's using it in her practice with counseling children, and they're loving it. So there are a lot of applications where utilizing the tools of dreamscape consciousness can be extremely valuable.
And how exciting is that to teach kids this cool tool? And I can imagine that a lot of the kids, like the youth, would just like really like love that and soak that up. And then being able to have these tools at such a young age, like that could be so empowering and like really life changing in a lot of different ways.
Yes, something I never had.
Yeah.
I think I had an understanding way before my parents or teachers or anyone honored that.
Yeah.
However, it took many years for me to actually learn to work with it. So, yes, absolutely for young people to be able to use this at an early age is very, very gratifying.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, because I didn't really even have that tool until I met you and connected with you and everything and learned a little bit more what you did. And I mean, we worked together for about 2 years because I took your CPM class and everything. Is there anything else about this soon to be certification course to teach others how to tap into the dreamscape consciousness in the dream realm, but also in the waking state? Is there anything more that you would like to share about that or add about that?
Well, only that I'm working on the program and the curriculum, and hopefully in the next month or two, I will be launching the program.
Okay, so by the time his video is most likely out, it will
Oh,
be in the process of
good.
being released.
Yeah.
So for reference, it is January. So maybe February, March, that program will be ready to be launched out
I
to the
hope
world.
so.
And I'm also curious, is this going to be an option for like a hybrid where you have some people in person, some people online? Can people online participate?
I'm planning that because I literally have students all over the world.
Yeah.
So I am hoping to create that as an online course.
Very cool. Yeah, I love that. And especially since like after COVID that many of us have been kind of conditioned to want to do online remote
Mhm.
access, but then a lot of people also crave the in person. So it's really nice being able to offer both. And so then again, like you're just keep on passing that Willow's torch to so many people all over the
Yes.
world. And so that's a really beautiful thing. For someone who's watching and they are curious about their dreams or they're feeling stuck in their own journey, what's one step? I know it's personal because everyone's story and experiences are different, but what's going to be one step that you can suggest that they can start taking today to start exploring their own dreamscape consciousness?
Number one would be journal your dreams in first person present tense, which brings you more present to the dream that you had. If you're saying it in first person present tense, as you journal it, you're feeling it over again
Mm-hmm.
and re experiencing it. Um, then looking at what people and actions mean for you. What do they bring up in your emotions, your thoughts, reactions? And you can always contact me
Yeah.
if you want to work through a dream.
And even in spaces like when you're having a hard time like remembering what happened, then it's like tapping into what you can remember, even if it's just a feeling, even if it's just like a yellow house or something like that, writing it all down, and then most likely that's going to help jog the memory back up again. And I remember to another suggestion that you did share is like making sure that you have like your notebook like right there by your bed and doing like little movement if you can to kind of keep the brain like kind of in that theta
Yes.
brainwave state.
So many people say to me, I don't remember my dreams. And here again, this is the value of being able to work with a daytime experience.
Mm-hmm.
It works just like a dream that you had at night. And it's easy with the daytime experience to get too involved in the story about what happened. So keeping it to very small bites about something that occurred in your daily life, an interaction with someone, And I have had so many people tell me once they started working with those daytime experiences, then they started remembering their dreams. So it kind of goes hand in hand.
Yeah, that's really interesting. And like in a way, like what I'm hearing, it's teaching the brain how to recall.
Mhm.
And when we can start training our brain how to recall experiences, it's going to be like exercising that muscle in our brain to also start recalling our dreams, which makes sense. That's
And to
interesting.
teach the brain to be interested
Yeah.
in why I'm reacting or why that particular event stands out to me.
I think one of another thing I learned from you is curiosity is a gift because not everyone's curious. And for me, it's like one of my biggest gifts. I'm curious, and sometimes probably not too curious, but it's gotten me in trouble at some points. There's like being curious about experiences, being curious about our feelings, being curious about our belief systems, and just being as curious as we can. And also, like when we can approach things with more curiosity, that has like a little bit more playful, light-hearted energy and not so heavy. And then we're not like trying to like, we're not getting ourselves in trouble or feeling that we are in trouble when we can approach things with more curiosity and play. Is there anything else about your program or any other suggestions that you would have for people before we begin to wrap this up?
I think you touched on it also that the senses, all the senses.
Mm-hmm.
So, thinking like you said, if you wake up and you can't remember the dream, and yet you know you were dreaming, paying attention to the sense that I have in that moment. I've had students tell me they didn't remember the dream, and yet when they began focusing on what they were feeling in that moment and started simply writing about that feeling,
Mm-hmm.
the dream began to come back. So it's amazing the tools that you can use and the ways that you can bring back the dreamscape.
Absolutely. I mean, I even really resonate with that a lot. I experience aphantasia, which is a blind spot eye. So I don't really have the ability to visualize in picture form per se. And even my dreams, I do have visual dreams, but I feel they're really toned down compared to other people that are able to visualize. And so the way that really helps me be able to interpret my dreams is the feeling, is like
Mm-hmm.
what was I feeling in that moment, and then that really helps me connect the dots with what I wasn't able to connect visually. And so I think that's really important to understand, like what you're saying is like it's not just like the visual image, it's also like what were you feeling, like what were you thinking, like what other senses like can you bring into that experience, and then
Yes.
that's going to help connect all the dots.
For me, I'm a very visual person. I get the images, I get the full video, like a movie playing in my head and working with the feeling brought me a little bit closer and more in touch with what I'm feeling and why I react to certain things or recognizing the feelings that are attached to that very visual experience that I often have.
That made me think about, it's like bridging this gap between our mind and our heart,
Mm-hmm.
and so it
Definitely.
helps bridge that gap. And then when we can bridge like three different gaps, like our mental space, or like our
Mm-hmm.
emotional, our mental space, our heart space, which is going to be our feelings, and then our intuition space, which is our solar plexus, our gut, right?
Hmm.
And so when we can have these three bridges between the three of them, I feel that we can again live a more passionate life, living, acting on our highest excitement and our purpose and everything. So again, it's just really cool that this is a fun way of being able to bridge that
Yeah.
gap.
The body mind experience, body mind, spirit experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and we're so much more than just our body,
Hmm.
you know, and so like we have all these different major pillars in our life, and you know, like mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. And if one of those pillars aren't very strong, we can issues, you know. And so again, I love how this really helps bridge that gap in a very unique and creative way that maybe a lot of people would never consider. And you know, when people, if they do decide to start to explore this in a deeper way, then maybe it's also going to invoke in them their new passion that they don't know about.
Yeah.
So, speaking of, I didn't have this on here that you do have a book, and you also have your dreamscape consciousness oracle cards where you
Hmm.
did like most of the art yourself. Did you want to talk about that at all? Because I love those. That's a lot of fun.
It's a tool that I think helps people get into the moment of what they are experiencing. So, doing a card reading or drawing a card in the morning, you know, and I know that that taps into the energetic place that we are.
Yeah.
And to utilize those cards, even for me, after creating the deck and publishing it, I still am fascinated with my connection to those cards and the things that they teach me with working with a particular card or a feeling or an issue that I might be dealing with. It offers me another perspective most times.
Yeah. And
So,
I love the artwork as well too. I mean, I remember that you spent a couple years like drawing them and putting them together. I know you kind of kept that project really close to your heart. And then like last year, like it finally was able to get released out into the world and everything. Is there a way that people are able to find your book and your oracle cards?
they are on my web, dreamscapeconsciousness.com. So, yeah, they can purchase the book, the journal, and the deck of cards.
Yeah.
All comes together.
And they're all very high quality. And I love how the cards too aren't like your normal like square rectangular cards, like that they're round.
Yeah.
And so I like how they feel and how easy they just kind of slide and just kind of let the spirit just have one pop out. So I really
Thank
love
you.
that.
Thanks.
One of my favorite ones, I think it's your strength card with the cat looking in the mirror, and it's the cat's reflection is a lion. Is that the strength card?
Well, there's two. One is, so they're kind of masculine, feminine related, though, you know, we both know it's not gender based. It's more the masculine empowerment and the feminine intuitive side. So, yeah, the kitten's looking in the mirror and sees the lion, or the other one is the kitten looking in the mirror and seeing a Persian princess cat.
Yes. I love that one too. Like those ones are like some of my
Yeah.
favorites. Okay, well, so I want to go ahead. I will like throw that out there is that people can find you at dreamscapeconsciousness.com. I will go ahead, I'll put that down below. And then people can also find Dreamscape Consciousness on Facebook too. I know you're
Mhm.
not like a very active like Facebook
Yeah,
user,
I'm not.
but that's still a place where people can
It's
send you
there.
a message if they want to learn more, if they
Sure.
want to get your book or whatnot.
Messenger or, yeah, or email.
Email? Okay, then
Mhm.
I'll also go ahead and put your email down in the comments as well too. So if anyone wants to reach out about that, they can do so. Is there anything else that you would like to add that we didn't cover today? Anything else you want to go
I
deeper
just
into?
want to thank you for giving me this opportunity. I love spending time with you, so it's been fun.
Yeah, thank you. And I mean, as you already know, you are my first of these. So some fun learning experiences, and so thank you for bearing with me as well too with that.
No problem. I hope my voice comes across
I'm sure it's just
and
fine.
not my growly stomach.
I don't think anyone heard it. Well, thank you again for choosing to spend some of your time with me and to do this. And again, growing through some of my own growth as well too as I navigate all of this. And if anyone would like to, please go ahead and follow, like, subscribe. If you have any questions, please go ahead and send them my way. And what is one thing in regards to the dreamscape consciousness that you feel that this could help bring value into your life? Or to go ahead and drop down, are you someone that has done any dream interpretation in the past? So please go ahead and let me know down below. Thank you so much. Take care and breathe deeply.
Thank you.